A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant ruling on May 5, 2025, U.S. District Judge Jamal Whitehead ordered the Trump administration to admit approximately 12,000 refugees into the United States. This decision comes as a partial block against President Trump's efforts to suspend the nation's refugee admissions program, a move that has sparked a heated legal debate. The ruling follows a series of arguments presented by the Justice Department and various refugee resettlement agencies regarding the interpretation of a previous federal appeals court ruling. Last week, during a court hearing, the administration contended that it should only be required to process 160 refugees, asserting its intention to appeal any ruling mandating the admission of thousands. However, Judge Whitehead firmly rejected this interpretation, stating that it required not just reading between the lines of the Ninth Circuit's ruling, but hallucinating new text that simply is not there. In his ruling, Whitehead emphasized that the court would not entertain any attempts by the government to rewrite a judicial order that is clear in its directives. He remarked, "The government is free, of course, to seek further clarification from the Ninth Circuit. But the government is not free to disobey statutory and constitutional law and the direct orders of this court and the Ninth Circuit while it seeks such clarification." The Refugee Admissions Program, established by Congress in 1980, serves as a legal migration pathway for individuals displaced by war, natural disasters, or persecution. This program is distinct from asylum, which allows newly arrived individuals to seek permission to remain in the U.S. based on fears of persecution in their home countries. Following the commencement of his second term on January 20th, President Trump issued an executive order that halted the refugee program, igniting a lawsuit from individual refugees whose resettlement efforts were abruptly halted. Major refugee aid organizations also joined in the lawsuit, citing significant layoffs and funding freezes for processing refugee applications overseas. Judge Whitehead, appointed by President Biden in 2023, blocked the enforcement of Trump's order, arguing that it amounted to an effective nullification of congressional will regarding the nation's refugee admissions framework. In March, the Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals largely upheld Whitehead's decision, but noted that the administration was likely to prevail in the case, given the president's broad authority over immigration. Nonetheless, the appeals court mandated that the government continue processing cases for those who had already been approved for travel to the U.S., many of whom had made significant life changes based on assurances from the federal government. The appeals court specified that the government must process refugees who had arranged and confirmable travel plans before January 20th. According to the Justice Department, around 12,000 refugees fall into this category. During last week's hearing, Justice Department Attorney David Kim argued that the government interpreted the appeals court ruling to mean that only refugees scheduled to travel within 2 weeks of Trump's order should be processed. This narrow interpretation was met with skepticism by the judge and refugee resettlement advocates, who pointed out that the Ninth Circuit's order did not indicate a 2-week processing window. Instead, Judge Whitehead clarified that the order should apply to any refugees who had been approved for U.S. entry and had established travel plans, regardless of the timing of their travel. The judge directed the administration to instruct relevant agency offices and staff, including U.S. embassies, to resume processing cases for the refugees protected by the court order within the next 7 days. Furthermore, he ordered the government to take immediate steps to facilitate the admission of those refugees whose clearances, including medical and security authorizations, have not yet lapsed. This ruling marks a pivotal moment in the ongoing legal battle surrounding the refugee admissions program, highlighting the complexities of immigration policy and the legal obligations of the U.S. government to uphold its commitments to vulnerable populations. As the situation unfolds, it remains to be seen how the Trump administration will respond to this latest court order and what implications it may have for the future of refugee admissions in the United States. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.